Alright, so tech and gaming reviews here. We're finally here with the review video of the Sony X90L. This is, however, like I mentioned on previous videos, this is, however, going to be our final TV that we're going to be getting, reviewing, and such that we're doing right now for quite a while. Now, like I stated, I know that we mentioned that we were pretty much, we were done with the last two OLED TVs that we recently, got, with them being the LG C3 and then the Samsung S90C, but because we got rid of another TV that we sold to one of our close friends, we actually decided, well, what is a brand that we don't actually have two models of? And it was Sony. And honestly, what I can honestly say, so I'm going to spoil this for you guys for the start of the video, even though we got a good bit of the video to go through. I'm just going to spoil this right now. I'm going to actually say, coming from a QD OLED or a LG traditional OLED, this TV, the Sony X90L, actually blew us away. And actually, we know, it was going to be a good TV, but it actually is better than we actually thought. So, here we are with the full-on review video for the Sony X90L. Now, if you was debating on whether to not get this TV and you was on a tight budget, but you want a TV that is a premium brand like Sony, I would honestly recommend getting this TV. Now, it did go back up $100 just this past couple of days or so. We got this one for $1,200 right now on a leasing, and we have 3 months to finish paying it off, and it's actually surprisingly good. So, here we are. We're right now on the PlayStation 5, as you can see, and honestly, one of the big things that I have to give credit for this Sony is that the HDR highlights from ratings.com over the previous model with the one that we have, which is the X90K, which I know we've told you probably countless of times on this channel, but that TV is still also fantastic and still looks vivid and just absolutely has awesome eye-popping contrast and HDR highlights. But when it comes to this one, so far, with our experience, it has so far gotten a slightly tiny bit extra cleaner and crisper than our basically X90K. Now, you might hear a noise in the back, outside here, bouncing sort of, just to give you guys a heads up. It is very windy outside, and we have severe weather where we're living at, which we're living in south central Ohio. So the weather is going to be crazy from now all the way to the next 6 hours. So if you hear a noise and whatever, I don't know if my phone's picking it up, just figured I'd throw that out there, that we have some crazy wind going on and we have severe weather that can hit anytime from now into the next 6 hours. And we're talking to severe storms and a tornado possibly hitting us. So just figured I'd make that quick reminder. Well, not reminder, but give you a quick heads up is what I mean to say. But here we are on the PlayStation 5, and the HDR, like I mentioned, is definitely a big step up on this TV than it was with the X90K. And what else I've noticed with this TV is that even the colors are actually not taking a hit, unlike our X90K did. The colors are still staying really rich and really vibrant looking. I mean, even just looking at the GTA 5 logo all the way around and such, and even looking at this game, for an example, Sonic Origins, looking at Knuckles' hair and everything, the colors are absolutely staying much more vivid than they did on the X90K, even though the highlights were insanely good on that. But this one, however, is really, like, ratings.com is 100% right. Like, the HDR 10 highlights on the X90L is definitely an improvement over the previous X90K. So these are a select few games that we have on our PlayStation 5. We have the remaster version of GTA 5, which I know that people have been tired of remasters of that game. And like I mentioned, we got Sonic Origins. We also got Horizon Forbidden West. Now, here are some things that I want to show you guys real quick. And the remote is almost identical like I showed you with the previous one, but the remote actually has a couple new buttons down here, and there's actually a couple new, like, advantages buttons. I don't know why I said that weird, but there's like a couple new advantages on certain buttons that you can get to certain things a lot quicker than you had to on the previous models in 2022. But when it comes to gaming, which this is what we're going on, you got these all different modes. Now, if you are in HDMI 3 or 4, that is the VRR in 4K at 120 hertz. So, like, let's say you have a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or even a high-end gaming PC. On HDMI 3 and 4, that you get the best, experience overall, you will also get this added, and you have the option to turn it off or on whenever you want. Now, this is not on HDMI's 1 and 2, so honestly, I don't really think it's as big of a deal as some people make it out to be, but honestly, that is a nice new feature that you have on pretty much the HDMI's 3 and 4 that do the 4K at 120 hertz. So we're going to go on ahead, and we're going to turn it back on. Because even some, to a degree, the picture kind of does look better, I've noticed, with VRR turn on. And then down here, you're going to basically get the resolution, and then if you're in HDR, and what's the console, and the HDMI, like I mentioned on the setup process video. Now, since we turn that back on, and this is another advantage, but this is only for PlayStation 5 owners. So as you see, since we turn that back on, we're going to go to basically HDR, and then here you get the following settings have been optimized for your TV to make adjustments if necessary. So this is basically what they're saying, that HDR auto tone mapping on a Sony TV automatically does the tone mapping for you on PlayStation 5s. But if you have an Xbox Series X or a Xbox One X or PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, you ain't going to get the automatically, HDR tone mapping adjustments automatically at all. Like, you will only get it on a PlayStation 5, and then most likely a PlayStation 5 Pro coming out later this year. So that's what that is that it automatically does the tone mapping for you to give you the best, HDR tone mapping highlights on your PlayStation 5 console. But I know it's kind of weird that even Sony's most popular last generation console, PlayStation 4, and even the PS4 Pro doesn't have that when you start a game that supports HDR. So I know that's a little bit of a bottleneck, but it only does it with the PlayStation 5, and let alone not the Xbox Series X or S consoles. So we're going to go on ahead, and we're going to show you a game like GTA 5 and show you like how good that it looks. So we're going to go on ahead. We have to mute the headset on our controller, and then another game after this we'll show you is Horizon Forbidden West. And like I mentioned, we knew this TV was going to be a good one, but wow, it's actually a lot more better than I actually thought. But we're loading into GTA 5 right now, and you can probably already take a good glimpse from the video, like, on how good that this TV looks, especially with HDR content basically turned on, especially for gaming. So you definitely don't lose anything out on the colors on this one. The picture stays pretty darn crisp, and like, this is such a good TV. So And this is our character, and like, I know, you're probably wondering why we got a select few of the same cars, but different colors, and that's just what we prefer. But we're going to drive around for probably at least a minute or so to give you a glimpse as to how this TV actually looks and performs. So, this is definitely really good. Like, I have never, ever seen a Sony TV like look this good, especially playing a game like this. Like the colors, the HDR highlights, the brightness even is even improved on this, and like you could just tell like how good that the HDR looks on this TV, especially with us playing a really popular game like GTA 5. And I'm telling you, just like you can even tell from the blue, the diamond blue of our car, on how good it looks, and even like the colors on a person's game tag right there, like that CEO, Cold Ding or Dan or whatever 15, like the colors absolutely just look incredible, especially with HDR. So ratings, like I mentioned, is actually 100% right. Like HDR highlights on this TV, let alone the main picture itself, like they are absolutely like the best. Like honestly, if I had to choose this TV over a QD OLED, I definitely would not be disappointed choosing this TV, even though I like QD OLEDs the most because they absolutely give you the best colors, contrast, and clarity. But if I had to choose this one for a budget price, I 100% would not be disappointed whatsoever, because I'm telling you, like, you can just tell how good that this looks. So you've already now got a good glimpse on how GTA 5 actually looks. So now let's actually start on Horizon Forbidden West. And like you can even tell from the blue and such on the background of that, like it was just really good looking. Like you don't lose no colors on HDR like you do on others, and that's weird that it asked us the same stuff. Now, the blooming is another thing I forgot to mention as well. You are still going to get some sorts of blooming on this TV, but it is definitely a lot more less in perspective. You don't see the blooming as much, and it's not as bad as it was on the previous X90K model. So with this TV compared to the X90K, you only gotten, I think it was 54 local dimming zones, which is not super great, but also not completely horrible either. The same thing is for this TV. The local dimming zones on this TV is 88 for the 65-inch version, which is the size that we got, and it's not real bad at all, but it's also not super great, but it's better than none, honestly, especially for better than being an edge light TV where you'll pretty much get like a majority of the whole screen like lit up if you have an edge lit TV, because honestly, like I honestly still think that full array is still a very good type of TV panel out there. So that's another thing I forgot to let you know, is that you will get some blooming on dark scenes, but it's actually a bit more improved over the X90K, which was like crazy bad. But this one definitely has it a lot better. You're still going to see it, and that's to be expected on any LED TV, even the higher up mini LED TVs and the new micro LED TVs, I think. Well, actually, no, I take it back. I don't even think that micro LED TVs would actually have that, honestly. So you probably would be in luck for a micro LED. But when it comes to like, full array TVs like this that have a lot more dimming zones and the mini LEDs, you're going to get some sorts of blooming no matter what the odds are, because it's not an OLED, it's an LED TV. But blooming does not affect us because we just love to play games and just watch, YouTube content. We don't really care for the contrast. But here we are on Horizon Forbidden West, and one good thing that I like about the HDR is that even the color red looks even still really rich, and to an extent, not super, super rich, but more like a rich natural to it, not like super, super vivid. But it's rich with a little bit of, how I say it, a little bit rich with nature to it, if that makes any sense. Like, it's rich, but it's not insanely rich to where it's too much calibrated or whatever. So that's another thing about the HDR colors on this TV. So this is only going to take like basically 2 seconds, and then we're going to load into the game. And we just got a friend online. And this is another area, like, just look how beautiful that Horizon Forbidden West looks on this TV. Like, you can just see, like, the detail in the distance so freaking clear. And, like, the colors, like I mentioned, on HDR just are absolutely good. I mean, you can even look at, like, the sunset, or the sun reflections, I should say. I don't know why I said sunset, but you can see the sun reflections on those rocks. And, like, dude, like, this is like another great HDR highlight type of TV that I have never had. Like, I've never seen this good in HDR highlights. And this is a budget lower end TV compared to a QD OLED, and especially a higher up mini LED OLED. Or mini LED TV. I don't know why I said mini LED OLED, so you can say whatever for that. So just a heads up. But yeah, as you can see, we actually have, like, the HDR. I'm telling you, like, it's just insanely good on this TV for this being a full array, like, only LCD type of TV with only 88 local dimming zones. So yeah. And we just made that noise on our PlayStation 5 controller for picking that up. So yeah, like, you can just tell, like, the highlights just look insanely good. But this TV review is not just for gaming as well. This is also for you movies and TV watchers out there. But gaming is definitely what we love to review our TVs and play and, like, test out new TVs on. Because gaming is just what we love to do. But this is Horizon Forbidden West, and, like, you can just, like, tell, like, it looks insanely good. Like, you can just tell by looking in the mountains, like, right here, on how good that actually looks. So yeah, the Sony X90L, honestly, this is actually our best Sony TV we have ever purchased. And I know you're probably going to say, well, you've never bought no other Sony except the 90 series. But I'm going to keep it real with you. The X90K is still good, and it was a huge upgrade over the X90J. The X90J from the X900H, it kind of wasn't so much, but the X90L over the X90K is even a bigger step up over that. And honestly, this is actually the best Sony TV we've ever purchased. So I honestly do think that this TV still holds a very good place in our heart. So that's going to pretty much do it for the review video. So you've seen how good that the picture looks and how good that the PlayStation 5 perform and all the new settings. And like I mentioned, this is going to be with anybody that watches regular TV or movies. You will be satisfied with this TV no matter what the odds are. So other than that, that's going to pretty much do it for the final review, final TV review, I should say. So if I was to rate this TV right now, it's definitely going to be an easily 10 out of 10, or at the minimum, like a 9 out of 10. Because with it being an LED TV and only a full array, and comparing to the previous model, this is definitely a wonderful TV, especially for $1,200 with the nice clarity that you're getting on a premium brand such as Sony. Because Sony, honestly, on top of Samsung, is our favorite brands out there, but Sony still is incredibly good as well. Like, Sony and Samsung are evenly tied as our favorite brands. So if you was thinking about buying this TV, I definitely would recommend get the Sony X90L if you want a premium brand like Sony, but also want to stay at a medium, like, picture quality out there that's still going to feel premium. the Sony X90L. 100% got you covered. So, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Tech and Gaming Reviews. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new to this channel, and be sure to let us know in the comment section down below if you was thinking about buying this TV and if this video helped you out on deciding to buy this TV. But without further ado, this is Tech and Gaming Reviews. Hope you enjoy it. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next video. Peace.